Welcome to Save As Ability, a podcast to educate and inform you about disability employment issues. My name is David D'Arcangelo, and I'm your disability policy expert.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back for another episode of Save As Ability. It's David D'Arcangelo, and thank you for continuing to help us grow. And if you could help us out with a like, subscribe, share, and sharing really does help. I think probably the most helps us grow, but thank you again. And we're going to get right to it because we have a great guest, Cami Turcotte. Cami is the Senior Director of Supplier Diversity for Disability. Did I get that right, Cami?
Supplier diversity, supplier inclusion, tomato, whichever way it works for you.
All right. Well, as a disclosure, both of my organizations, Archangel Communications and Angel Buttons, are certified disability-owned business enterprises. So I've worked with Cami before on that, and I appreciate you and the great work you're doing. So here we are in October. It's National Disability Employment Awareness Month. And a big part of what Disability In is trying to do, right, is get disability-owned business enterprise certified and doing business. So can you give our audience a little bit of an understanding of your role in Disability In, and let's talk about all the great things that lead to employment for people with disabilities?
Absolutely, David. So great to be here. Thank you for having me to celebrate NDEAM, or National Disability Employment Awareness Month. Disability In is a global, actually a national nonprofit with a global footprint. We work across large enterprises to really educate large entities on how to be more disability inclusive. So that goes from everything from hiring processes, benchmarking, talent acquisition. We have a consulting arm, and then obviously supplier inclusion are among some of the top programs we offer. Supplier inclusion directly, which is what the program is that I lead, really works to focus around disability-owned business enterprises, helping corporations connect to them, helping our certified DOBEs, as we like to call them, leverage resources and benefits and really help grow their businesses and help them connect to potential opportunities that may be out there with our corporate partners and other entities that we work with.
Yeah. And again, Disability In is really the first of its kind. And I've been with it since my public roles, and it was the United States Business Leadership Network. I know you've been there for a number of years. Maybe you can take us through some of the things I know you do. We've had Becky Kekula to talk about the index, and maybe you can tell our audience a little bit more about like the ins and outs of Disability In as an organization.
Yeah, so it started as a President's Committee, I believe, 20 plus some years ago. I joined the team back in January of 2012 when we were U.S. Business Leadership Network. Effectively, nobody had any idea what that meant or what we did. So we went through a couple of different iterations of rebranding, landed on Disability In. And we've been Disability In since, I want to say, 2016, 2018. And even since that rebranding, we've gone through kind of some realignments on what we do, really fine-tuning where we really kind of play within the business world. We are a business-to-business organization, so everything we do is around for-profit entities for the most part, whether it's corporations, small businesses, and again, really helping them level set where they are along their disability inclusive journey. And we have some companies that have been doing it for a number of years that are really good at it, and we have some that are just starting off and are really kind of getting the basics down. With our supplier inclusion side of the house, we're obviously working with small, medium-sized businesses that are owned, operated, managed, and controlled by a person or persons with disabilities, which is kind of where you come in, David, and your companies. And, a lot of the work we do in that space is really allowing them to leverage the resources we offer, as well as, leveraging corporate partner events, matchmaking events, networking opportunities. And that can, again, come through our corporate partners that are basically comprised of Fortune 500 and 1,000 size companies or other city and state level entities that we work alongside.
Right. And let's give everybody a little bit of a flavor of what we're talking about here, both on the DOBE side and then on the corporate partner side that you just mentioned. It tends to be Fortune 500 or, well, what is it, the Russell 2000, or, it tends to be larger organizations that have shareholders and have said, look, we want to make this a priority. We feel we have a responsibility to try to be proactively getting people with disabilities involved. We all know the data on people with disabilities, unfortunately, with the labor participation rate and things. So, but, when it first started, there was what, a couple, maybe 100 or so companies that were DOBEs. Now is it over 1,000 yet? If not, it's growing, right?
Yeah, when I first started, I think we had 16, and that was the first year post-pilot of the program. And now we are very, very close to 1,000. We'll be there probably by the end of the month. So the program has grown substantially. Obviously, it's been a journey. I've been with the program since its infancy. And to see it hit almost 1,000 is a huge milestone that I'm very proud of the work we've done, within the organizational walls and within this program itself. So, from the corporate partner side, a lot of these programs are coming to us through different avenues, right? So we're a little bit different than some of the other entities out there that work in this space, like NMSDC, which is the National Minority Diversity Council, NGLCC, National Gay Lesbian Chamber of Commerce, WeBank, which is the Women's Business Enterprise National Council. Lots of alphabet soup this morning. They're really focused around certification of diverse communities. We do that, but we do a whole host of other things enterprise-wide for our corporate partners. So when companies come to us, they may be hyper-fixated or focused on maybe hiring individuals with disabilities and understanding the best way to do that, best practices, the gold standard. And they work along kind of the pathway of the programming we offer to really kind of grow their journey around being inclusive of people with disabilities. So again, it is kind of a journey for majority of companies, but we work from A to Z and every place in between. So we're really trying to provide support enterprise-wide for these companies to really kind of, again, bring that piece and inclusivity back home to their offices.
Right. And I think it's the association of bringing organizations together, both on the DOBE side, but then also on the business side. Disability has been very active, like teaming up with Accenture on that, several different reports and data now that really industry and people with disabilities rely upon. I cite it all the time here on this program.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a policy and research arm that we've had for probably, I want to say 3 or 4 years now, that has really kind of helped drive a lot of the work that we do in that space. Obviously, there have been white papers and other documents that we've worked alongside our corporate partners and other entities to build out in support of the business case for people with disabilities, whether it's employment through the normal arm of being, an employee of a company, or if it's self-employment through being an entrepreneur with a small business. So obviously, it's important and it is impactful because there was not a lot of data out there. And there's continues to be an underrepresented amount of data and statistics and reporting for the disability community as a whole in this space. But it is something we're working towards to continue to build that business case.
Right. So for businesses that are watching, what's the call to action for them right now if they're not members of Disability yet?
Yeah, so I would implore you to reach out to, our organization. Our website is www.disabilityin.org. You can reach out to our partnership team that is on there, and they would be happy to jump on a call and explain how the partnership levels work, what's inclusive of that, and really tell you a little bit more about our organization. And if you have interest on specific subsets around programming, they'll pull in the leads like myself to kind of talk a little bit more in detail about that. So, again, the work we do is a little bit different than those other orgs out there because we are enterprise-wide. So the benefit of that is when organizations join, they don't have access to just one subset of our programming. You get access to pretty much everything at the lowest level and at the highest level. As you go on, it's really just driving what you have benefits and resources that are laid out, again, based on that partnership level. So, again, check out our website and our team would love to talk with you.
Yeah, I mean, and really it's challenging enough starting a business, and then you add disability and the very sober challenges that brings, like I can't drive. That limits my business's ability, right? It doesn't limit my ability to do the skills and, things like that, but there are real challenges, right? So I think having that camaraderie is important. Having a trade association to be able to work with big industry is important. So, yeah, I mean, I value disability and, but you hear things, Cami, right? Everybody wants more.
That's true. I will say that, our organization as a whole has been virtual for pretty much the entire time I've been in the organization. So, funny thing happened during COVID is that a lot of people were forced to work from home when offices were kind of starting to kind of bring their workforce back in the queue and start working. And we didn't really have to adjust at all because it's something we've done for a number of years. But now we're seeing a lot of those transitions to the hybrid workspaces, working from home remotely full time. And I think that it begs the question of why a lot of people are having to go back in office full time. That allowed people kind of to understand that the ability to work from home is something that is very easy to do. There is an accommodation for a lot of folks who either have mobility issues, cannot drive, cannot get into physical offices, that allow them to still have a professional setting, be able to get their work done, knowing that they don't necessarily have to traverse into an office space or travel. So
It's definitely barrier removal.
yeah, absolutely. Now, again, there are a lot of companies that have said like, hey, you have to come back in the office. But I think that it just went to show that the people are capable of having professional careers, owning their own companies, facilitating business connections, doing that stuff virtually without the physical piece. Although, don't get me wrong, there is an importance level to that, but there is still an environment for it and an aptitude and an appetite for it. So I think it's something that is still very doable, and it allows folks, again, with mobility issues or other disabilities that cannot, again, get into a physical office space to still be able to access potential employment options or, again, self-employment through entrepreneurship.
Yeah. And I mean, you've talked to these corporate partners all the time. The nature of the workforce is changing more rapidly than ever. So I view that as an opportunity for people with disabilities to be able to get in and use their talents and abilities.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would agree with you. And I think that, every evolution we go through, whether it's a generational thing, politics, the business world, there are all these changes ever evolving. And I think that as business owners and large corporations that are looking to seek to hire folks or do business with small businesses are evolving almost just as quickly, or trying to figure out how to evolve as quickly. Technology is starting to play a huge part in almost every aspect of our life, personally and professionally. So it would be silly not to leverage those things out there in the technology space that allow for folks to still be sustainable in the workforce and self-employment force.
Absolutely. Very well said. And I think we'll wrap it up there, Cami. Thank you for coming on today.
Thanks for having me, David.
It's great to have you. Send us the links. We'll put those in the description. And thanks, everybody, for joining us here at Say Visibility. Again, if you could help us out, like, subscribe, share, that does help our channel grow. So we appreciate you. Another episode of Say Visibility. I hope you have a great day.
For more information about disability employment issues, please visit our website, disabilityemploymentsolutions.com. The Save As Ability podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, our YouTube channel at Disability Policy Expert, or wherever you stream your podcasts. Subscribe, stream, rate, and review our shows. Your ratings and reviews help our show reach new audiences. Produced by Pod Pro Entertainment. Save As Ability lives within a network of podcasts located at podproentertainment.com. #TheNewRadio. Again, my name is David D'Arcangelo, and I'm your disability policy expert. Until next time, thank you. I hope you have a great day.